welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed the first part of this first day of the EA Connect days. Already had some great conversations, enjoyed the keynotes and Andre's speech earlier this morning, and grabbed some food since we are now going to start with our first hands-on session here in the on the EA Connect days. Maybe just to give a really quick introduction from my side, my name is Patrick. I am actually working as a customer success manager at LeanIX, and I'm with LeanIX for about a year now. So I wouldn't say one of the older ones, but since then we actually doubled in person. So it was a really exciting year, the last year. Come in, hi. The topic we're going to talk about is application rationalization. And this is an entry-level course, let's say, session where we'll just get into details and see like, okay, what I need to start with application rationalization, how difficult is it to start, and besides the content and information just around the application, what else do I need as a success factor to actually tackle that topic? And I will walk you on one hand through the topic of app rationalization itself, and on the other hand also give you deeper insights of how LeanIX is actually contributing and helping you to cover the topic, tackle the topic, since it's application landscapes can be quite big and quite a challenging topic to get all those information together. So I'm really happy to host you here for the next 45 minutes, and actually would love to start with a reference from one of our early customers. Actually, I think Andre said it, Helvetia was the host of our first year Connect days. Yeah? And they also started and had application rationalization as a use case for themselves, where they really jump-started also AIM initiatives at their company. And the reasons for that was on the first side maybe the most obvious one, to be more efficient and actually save money by the rationalized or harmonized application landscape on the one hand. But also feedback that we received was that they were actually able to also start their projects way faster than they were before, since they gained this transparency or actually had this transparency on their landscape. Were also able to scope to the let's say to the parts of their architecture that were actually in focus or that actually were most important. So this was a really good feedback for us that we enabled Helvetia to do that. And pretty much one key success factor for them was that they finally managed to get one single source of truth for all their information in regards to IT, and in special in regards to application rationalization and application architecture management. In regards to LeanIX, and I'm not sure, I think some of you are already familiar with the data model we actually provide at LeanIX. It consists of, let's say, all those 10 what we call fact sheets. The good message is that application rationalization, you don't have to dig too much, especially in the beginning, into all aspects of your enterprise architecture, but especially have a closer look at your user groups, at your business capabilities, and for sure applications that are in the, let's say, center of this use case anyways. Besides that, for sure, it's some effort, or it's the actual work to get all those elements connected. Yeah, so you have to actually figure out how are they related to each other, which functionality or capability is using which application in which part of your organization. This is definitely the work you got to do. And then just in regards to your decision processes, you got to make sure that the right attributes are actually in place. And what's really in focus for app rationalization is the life cycle information of the application, since as you gather data and then want to sell the data also, you for sure want to show later on, okay, how is my baseline architecture looking, but how is it also looking half a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, since we all know that those projects also take some time, and you won't actually switch off applications. So this is information that's pretty much basically needed to tackle app rationalization. And as I said, I'll just walk you through some details and see what you actually can do, or how LeanIX is supporting you in tackling that. And as we say, hey, LeanIX is actually giving you actionable information. It's a report like that that you in the end want to see, where you see on the x-axis, hey, what are the capabilities I actually have in place? In this case, I focus a little bit on the customer relationship management function, And on the other hand, you'll have pretty much an illustration of your organizational structure. Here, in this example, it's different regions where tools are used, different departments. As I said, it's pretty much related to your organizational structure that you would put in here. And even what you could find out on the first sight, and I already got the feedback also today that this is a great starting point to get into conversations, with the IT strategy, like from a higher level perspective, say like, hey, we made different observations within our application landscape, and this could be, for example, the identification of white spots, where in this example, in the functionality in the business capability customer service, you see like there's only one actual application in place, where you can see it on the left side. You'll see, okay, actually Australia is doing customer service with one application, but all the other regions seems like they don't even have an application in place. So you would actually get into conversation, okay, should this capability be supported by applications also in different regions, as a first question. And as a second question, does it make sense to roll out, for example, this application globally, or does it even not make sense, since you get some information about bad user experience, old technology, or something like that, if you dig into detail. But those are actually the questions you can state right away if you just have a look at the landscape. And on the other hand, it's maybe in regards to rationalization, even more relevant use case where you say, okay, I have one function, that should be pretty standard, but in every region I'm using 3 different applications. You start asking yourself really quickly, why are we running so many applications doing the same thing? So step 1 is really gathering that data, creating these views, and get into conversation about where should we focus, what can we do, where do we have at all potential to harmonize or rationalize our application landscape. How is that done in the tool? You have manifold options to filter. For example, just jump to capabilities, look for customer relationship management. And if you just want to come down from your big landscape, since you gathered so many data, you would easily be able to, for example, set a functional scope here. If you're the enterprise architect in charge for customer relationship management, or if you are organized more on a regional level, depends a little bit on the governance you actually have in your company. You could also say like, hey, I just want to have a look at certain kind of user groups. Also, just in regards to the customer relationship management function. So you would be able actually to really focus on different parts of your application landscape to make the views that you see relevant for you. Yeah. So since you don't want to see too much stuff that's just not in your scope or where you can't really have an effect. So there's one big challenge actually to get to that point. Yeah. And I was really happy when it was mentioned earlier, I think in the keynote and also by Andre, that we really focus on collaboration. Yeah, and we don't see even enterprise architecture management, at least getting the data together, not as an, let's say, expert domain, but in the domain that broad, you rely on collaboration, and you want to get the data from your experts and get the data from those points where you can actually get it from. And therefore, we in the tool have actually implemented different functionality to support that. And the one is, for example, our dashboards, which you will see right away when you enter LeanIX. So you see it a little bit in the background here. You could actually see like, hey, please show me all applications by technical fit or by business criticality. Or maybe more relevant right now, please show me all applications in regards to their GDPR relevance. Yeah, it's just data that you want to have. You say, okay, that needs to be maintained no matter what. And those dashboards give you, especially in the beginning, a great chance to get an overview of what data is already there and what's my way to go. Yeah, so how far do I have to go to actually get completeness on GDPR relevance or technical fit? And what's possible in the tool is to actually see, okay, how's the distribution of those values for my applications? You could filter it further down. But really nice is that you also see, okay, where do I not have any data? Yeah, and we have this click actions and workflows also in the tool that enables you to actually click on just the, let's say, 10 NAs on the top left, which will just right away bring you off the list to the applications where this value is not maintained, and you'll just narrow it down and go for those people responsible or stuff to approach them and also fill in this data. And another point is, while being in those reports, just the matrices I showed on a slide earlier, it is possible to also edit information in those matrices. Yeah, actually, this is a great approach. I always promote it in the beginning when, for example, you as an architect are on a, let's say, road trip around your organizational regions, to get in touch with the regional experts and then work in the reports to actually fill them and gather that information. I think this is way more comprehensive and way more also attracting than filling out an Excel list or some list that later on needs to be transferred into the tool. And there's really a wow effect when people see, okay, I just edited it and I have the landscape for my region now complete. And I'll show again how that works. So it's just setting up a completely new dashboard here. Just give it a name, say what kind of chart type do I want, looking for applications functional fit. And I'm just looking for applications that have a relation to customer relationship management. Do some extra configuration there. Yeah, and there you are. You save it. And this is actually the first dashboard on your screen. You can click on one of the bars and you will get to the filtered inventory. So this is the workflows we really emphasis on, and where we really are strong and want to get stronger, that you really have those processes that you can use to actually cater data completeness. And then my second example was editing within the reports. I can say, hey, here, Brazil is using Salesforce. You get some suggestions while talking to the expert, and it's added to the report. And in the background, for sure, the relationships to the business capability as well as to the user group have been established also in the fact sheet. So when you later on want to jump into details, you can always do that. It's a really well taken approach, especially with people that are relying on first having workshops with the experts to actually figure out what are people using in this area, in this business capability, to actually get data into the tool and work with it fluently, stay in the tool, document it.
Are you taking questions while we go through it, or we prefer it in the end?
Go ahead, yeah.
One thing I wanted to know was, oh, sorry about that. One thing I was curious about was this ability, when you have all these integrations to ServiceNow, for instance, how does that relate? Is the master data kept in LeanIX, and how do you update the other systems that you have connected?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I would, for going into detail, I would point to the ServiceNow session that we also have on the agenda. In general, basic information is we'll just have a mapping. By default, it's what is an application in LeanIX is a business service in ServiceNow, and the configuration just allows you to define the master and see is it a strict synchronization or non-strict synchronization. So this is all things you can actually configure, let's say, in the admin area while setting up this integration. Yeah. Okay, so well, you wouldn't just start rationalizing apps and throwing apps out. Yeah, there's actually the point that you gotta get an idea about. Okay, what are the applications? What are the systems I also want to rely on in the future? And what are the ones that I actually want to get rid of? Just end it, terminate it, or what you want to migrate, as there are data in it that you will still need, but want to go to a consolidated system. And there might even be systems that you will tolerate also in the future, where you just say, okay, I won't even put a big governance on that don't do harm to me. So this is a good point where you could actually start with. We call it, or not we, but it's normally known as putting some normative strategies to your application landscape. We propose, for example, doing the time categorization, also promoted by Gartner. What is maybe from a reporting perspective, and then finally also seeing the migration path or rationalization path in your single reports, it's of vital importance to work with the life cycle information of the application. Yeah, and this life cycle information is actually, the life cycle that you internally, in your corporation, set yourself. How long am I going to use this application here at my corporation, and when do I want to end the life of this application, actually why you migrate to another system or something like that. And as we'll see in a second, I'll show how you can edit it and where you can edit it. As we'll see in a second, this is crucial just to work with reports and also have views like, okay, how is my baseline looking right now? But as I said, how is it going to look like in a year? Or how is it going to look like in 2 years, where you actually want to see, or even you might be asked to show, how did we go from 5 applications for the same functionality to just 2 applications? Yeah. So you actually in charge also to show your your efforts, maybe you just want to show those, yeah, because it's actually something where we think it's not even that easy. And maybe to add that up a little bit, already getting a little bit into the advanced advanced filtering, you can not only maintain the life cycle, the general life cycle of your application, but you could also say like, okay, this application is live for Brazil until the end of the year, yeah. But for Australia, it's live until the middle of next year. So we're getting a little bit into the discussion of maintaining life cycle at the relations to certain user groups. If there are questions, I'm happy to answer that also after the call, since maybe this is a little bit fast right now to get it. How to do that? I think you will see the results in the matrices that I'll just show you in a second, so then you at least know what I mean. So, lifecycle information in general, you will jump to the fact sheet, set the end of life date, save it, and then at the relation you would go, for example, to Australia. Say for Australia, this is true until the end of the month. We're gonna end of life there. But for Brazil, am I going to that? No, I'm not going to that, but you were actually able to see it. I'll run through it once again. It says for Australia, it's active from, I don't know, somewhere last year to the end of month. And if you want to go into detailed planning of the activities of the applications in the single regions, you would go through these ones, and it actually refers to, let's say, programs or projects that come in waves, where you'll actually migrate or get rid of applications in different regions to a different point in time. How would that actually look like in the report? Since this is something I also wanted to emphasize on, and I'll just go back. It's a simple example where you just see, okay, how is this actually evolving over time, and what is happening to the application landscape when you're using those life cycles. And just look on Salesforce slide. Actually go to the life cycle, say, show me all the active ones to a certain point in time. Today, it looks like that. By the end of the month, already changed. And by the end of the year, I got totally rid of it. No, Spain is still using it. Yeah. So this is actually the effect in the application landscape that you can do using the life cycles. For sure, as I said, this is a little bit like exaggregated. You won't rationalize away your whole opportunity management there. Sales wouldn't love it too much, but you can actually picture what would happen if you have a big landscape and just have these effects of going from 5 applications in certain areas to 2 applications in certain areas, or even work towards, let's say your strategic directives that are more often than not saying like, okay, we just want to go for one application for a certain function worldwide. So you have really nice effects there, and also able to look into the future using this functionality. If you want to see it a little bit, let's say on a rough scale, also on a timely perspective, you are actually able to adapt the axis of those reports. You would now see, okay, how is it evolving over the years? And also there, let's actually say, I think I'm not working with a life cycle filter here, but what you see actually is, as you planned it correctly, you would have quite a mess in the beginning, yeah. And if you go through the years and have actually the plans of your projects or programs in space, have a proper succession planning in 2022 or what's back there, you'll actually see like, okay, I have quite a burn down in applications that are using for a certain function. Yeah? I think I'm scoping to customer relationship management there. So this is actually on a visual level, I think a good start to say like, okay, this is going to be our target picture here, yeah, for CRM. We just going to work with Salesforce there. So it's a little bit exaggerating, but I think you'll get it. You get it what the point is behind there. You really burn that down. Here on an illustrative level, I'll also show you later on that we'll have a nice custom report in our store, so available for all of you, that will also quantify the application burn down, yeah, as you need to present it in a more quantitative way too. And I think it's actually especially exactly this next slide here. This is what is possible using custom reports. So I'm not 100% sure. There might be people here in the room that don't know all the reports we offer. But there's a certain number of standard reports that are natively in the tool that you can use. And as Andre said in his keynote a little bit earlier already, we are releasing the store where partners, you as customers or us, everybody, yeah, can actually develop reports. And this is a report that actually came out of a project of a partner on the current customer of us, who actually has this need to say like, hey, how am I burning down my number of applications to a certain degree? To what point in time am I ending applications, and so on and so on. So here definitely we added some capability to also go into direction of presenting management reports, getting quantified data also out of the tool, something which we natively do not support that strong, but I think we covered this topic now really strong and have a great flexibility to actually get into this topic as you want to adapt the views actually that you need. And yeah, exactly. Besides that, another nice quantitative report, and I'm just going to show you a GIF on the next slide, is, for example, also something like run costs per capability that will be available as you go into this use case of app rationalization. Takes a little bit more information than I introduced in the beginning. So you have to, let's say, take one more step and actually allocate costs and have also a little bit of a view on your IT components that you are using, but still talking about quantification of the efforts that you are actually putting into rationalizing your application into your application landscape. I think this is really valuable, and sometimes this is just the thing you want to present when you need a backup, when you need somebody from management that sponsors you, that gives you backing. This is the views also top management wants to see, actually see what's the effects of the budget I'm putting there, I would say. So walking through that GIF, your new report would be there on top. Just attention, 11 not in, I'll get rid of it. And yeah, you have quite some configuration options for such a report. Adapt the time span. Do you want to look at quarters, years, month, etc.? So you saw there's already some options there. And also click action saying like, hey, what are the 12 applications I'm retiring there? You'll get a list down there to look into details or into more details, let's say. And if you want to look into real details, you can just jump to the fact sheet again and see, okay, what are the additional information I'm actually having there. Yeah, and there you have the whole scope of, let's say again, functionality. LeanIX is offering you attributes that you put there, conversations you have with the experts in the comment section, maybe get some additional information you put up using surveys. And I'll also come to that in a second. Already promised you we're going to have another look at the, wait, before that goes too fast, we'll have another look at the capability cost report, which is pretty much aggregating all the costs of your applications to the capabilities that they are related to. And I think, like, especially from a business planning perspective, this is also something which you can present, where you can go into nice use cases of budget planning. As soon as you defined, hey, what are my strategic capabilities? Yeah, you can figure out, hey, am I putting the money where it actually hurts me, or what's actually of great importance for me. So you will have a report like the one I'm just showing in a second, and also see how costs are evolving over time. Got to be careful a little bit, but you will see the changes there from the next click on, like end of the month or end of the year. Already something is changing. And I think I'm going into the future a little bit. And so you can actually get some into use case of, let's say, target costing your run costs of the applications, saying like, okay, this is how this cost structure per capability will also look like. Definitely something to look at if you are driven by numbers, let's say. So really interesting. Last point, and to my opinion, really crucial for this use case, but for, as I said earlier, every use case you're going to tackle in the EIM is different collaboration features. Yeah, so you won't be able to gather all that information on your own. Yeah, you need people to talk to. You need to get access to experts, and we want to make you the life as easy as it gets, I would say. And we are actually coming with a different kind of workflows in the tool, and it would be maybe a little bit too much to work through all those workflows. But we have things like quality seal, as the quality seal. You see that at the one where the responsible, in this case, application owner, just gives a tag like saying, okay, just looked it all up, looked through the information is correct, use it in your project. Or as solution architects want to use it, they just know this information is trustworthy, I'll use it. The second one is pretty much a change log. Yeah, so for every fact sheet in there, we'll have a log of changes that have been made that might trigger the quality seal to break, for example, and trigger a notification to the responsible. Say, hey, information changed. Is it still current? Please set the approval for the quality. Yeah, so you can have a look at that. And finally, you can check the data completeness on a first side, where it's say like, okay, how complete is the data I want to gather in that fact sheet anyways. Something also that you can configure. So if you don't want to, if let's say the relation to certain projects or predecessors is not in your scope anyways, you can just say, okay, make this field optional and it will not count into the completeness. And there's really nicely possible to, let's say, set yourself an ambition level, saying like, for my applications, the quality level must be 90% or up. Yeah, so this is something I would say is realistic, and you could go for actually that level and see if you can reach that level. And now finally, one Ah, no, that's the trigger for the. I actually have the survey in the GDPR section later. So if you're interested in that, I then just want to show you how it actually works when a quality seal breaks. Let's say I'm the application owner for this application, LeanIX, and solution architect that is not subscribed as responsible or something like that changes information on a fact sheet. Yeah, I will get, as I said, get the notification and then look up the data, maybe start a comment, get into conversation with this person. And I actually want to show you how that works. This next gift, so I'll get this plain email here. It will take me right away to this application. See, the quality seal is broken up there, so I need to check it, see what was going on here. Say, okay, a successor was defined. And say, okay, cool, finally, it's happy. The successor has finally been confirmed. Add the comment. Check Salesforce, okay, life cycle is also correct. They're like, okay, quality approved again. Yeah, and so this is pretty much the workflow where people are aware of, okay, something happened. It's information is outdated. Yeah. And the responsible persons, yeah, as I said, you saw it, get right to the information, right into the fact sheet, and actually edit the information or reinsure the information. So to add that all up and pretty much say, like, present you some key takeaways for that session and for app rationalization use case in general. Can say from a LeanIX perspective, app rationalization is really possible. It's possible to get into the topics just using, let's say, basic fact sheets. It's the user group, it's the business capability, and it's the application fact sheet, yeah, where you have to look, okay, what's the attributes I need to take a decision, yeah, but this is a scope. You don't have to have all information of your whole architecture in place. Crucial for this use case is collaboration to ensure the completeness of the data in the first instance, but also make sure that the quality of the data actually stays up to date. Yeah? And finally, show value, really reaping low-hanging fruits. And what I mean by that, it's on the one hand, it's if you actually see applications that you could rationalize early and without any effort, do it. But what we really found out is as soon as you have this posters or the matrices going exactly into this discussions I was talking about, the strategic discussions, where are the potentials, what can we do, hey, here, look, this is my recommendation. Yeah, this is actually something where we get the feedback, which is already very, very valuable to just set priorities, take the next steps, get into detail, set up projects, and so I can just say, go into this use case.